Hello everybody, I'm back with a brand new video. This is a special Cartoon Network's 30th anniversary special video. I am on my way to the P.O. box to deliver a letter to Cartoon Network thanking them for 30 years. Here, I have the letter right here, and I'm about to go drop it in the mailbox for Cartoon Network's special 30th anniversary. For 30 years, the network has given us so many great cartoon shows. Starting the Moxie Show, ending all the way to Adventure Time, its regular show, Steven Universe and Clarence. So many great shows that helped us over the past 30 years. I could never, ever forget how many times Cartoon Network has come in clutch with so many great and awesome shows. Betty Cohen was the first president of Cartoon Network. She came out when Cartoon Network had just started and everything. And Cartoon Network, man, back in the 90s, when it started in the 90s, I mean, it really boomed because you had shows like Dexter's Laboratory. You had shows like Ed and Eddie, Cow and Chicken. You know, I Am Weasel. You had the Powerpuff Girls. You had Johnny Bravo. You had so many great and awesome shows. And I am just so thankful to God that I was able to witness, you know, Cartoon Network's glory days and everything. Oh, they have them closed off. Look, people, they have them closed off for some reason. I don't know why, but I can't deliver the mail because they're not open. I can't go in either. They're closed, so I'm gonna have to probably come back. But yeah, that's a bummer. But I just want to say Cartoon Network has meant so much to me, man. I first started watching Cartoon Network in 2002. I remember being a kid, and the first show I was watching was Pokemon, and I didn't really understand it at the time, but you know, it really captivated me. I seen Yu-Gi-Oh on there. I remember watching shows like Scooby-Doo. Y'all know that childhood YouTube video I did. I showed y'all all my Scooby-Doo sheets and, you know, clothes and things that I had with Scooby-Doo, blinds and everything. And man, I just can't believe that Cartoon Network is 30 years old now, man. The current state of the network right now, it's in a midlife crisis, as we all know, with the whole Warner Brothers thing, and you know, David Zaslav and him trying to, you know, sell Warner Brothers and delete all these different, you know, HBO Max shows and all these new shows that's supposed to come on and not have them progress to become a show on the network. So it's like, it's really sad what's going on right now with the network. But I'm gonna talk about why Cartoon Network is so special to me, specifically on its 30th anniversary. 30 years of Cartoon Network, 30 years of animation, 30 years of fun, 30 years of humor, 30 years of dark, because you had shows that were dark, you had shows that were completely just weird and crazy, you had shows that didn't get enough love at all, and you had a lot of promos that were so amazing. I will never forget, my favorite promos would probably have to be the Cartoon Network Fridays promos with Nikki, Tommy and Tara, and Zynga too. Zynga was also in it too. You had so many good promos back at the time between, I'm gonna say 2004 to 2007. I mean, those 3 years right there were the best years of the network. I mean, you still had old shows playing. You had a lot of new shows. In 2005, man, you had so many new shows premiere. Camp Laszlo, My Gym Partner's a Monkey, The Life and Times of Juniper Lee. You also had shows in it like Johnny Bravo, Dexter's Laboratory, Courage the Cowardly Dog. You had shows that came out like Foster's. The year before Foster's came, you had Billy and Mandy because Eva Con Carne had just ended. You had so many great shows at the time. And to think that 30 years later, that Cartoon Network would even still be around to have a chance to even show them shows. You know, I know they don't do that now, but we know what the network was capable of at the time. And that's the most best thing about the network, you know. I remember coming back from school, man, elementary school, like 3rd, 4th grade, 1st grade, 2nd grade. I remember coming back 2005. The whole summer that year was just completely, like, really good. Like 2005 summer, that whole summer, man, was so fun, bro. Like, I'm telling, I remember like it was yesterday. They would play so many different new shows on there, and it was just they had a mix up of the old shows and the new shows at the same time. I mean, and then they would have Tommy and Tara go to this, like, you know where the that park is in Los Angeles? I forgot what it's called, but they would have them go there, and they would kick off the Memorial Day summer of 2005 Cartoon Network summer special. And they had shows like Camp Laszlo, My Gym Partner's a Monkey, Crypto the Super Dog. They threw some freaking Dexter up in there. They threw some Teen Titans up in there, the old Teen Titans. What's New Scooby-Doo, Justice League. I mean, there was just so many different shows, man. And I want to thank Cartoon Network for 30 freaking years. Cartoon Network means so much to me because, as we all know, Cartoon Network helped me a lot, man, in school, especially when I was getting bullied, man. I was getting bullied in 3rd grade really badly. And I remember, man, like, coming to school scared sometimes. Even though I had my friends, we talked about a lot of different TV shows and cartoons and stuff. And I remember I used to bring my Pokemon book to school every day. And me and Delars, my other friend, we would act like we're battling like real life Pokemon. And all my other friends too, like Micah, Michael, Jacoby, and Brandon. We would always act like Naruto characters running down the hallway with the hands behind our back. Like, it would be so freaking fun, man. I miss those days. And man, that's where I first started knowing about anime as well. I didn't know about anime until I watched Toonami. You know, Cartoon Network brought so many people into anime, starting with Naruto, Blue Dragon, Bobo, One Piece, Yu-Gi-Oh! You can say Pokemon is an anime. What else they had on there? I mean, so many different shows, man. Dragon Ball Z. I mean, man, it was just so amazing to see how they brought anime in and everything else with it. You know, I am just so enthusiastic when I talk about Cartoon Network, because you had the grace period and then you had the fall period. Now we're gonna get into the fall period. Oh, the fall period, man. It started in 2010 for me. Around 2010, the network started falling off a cliff. I mean, they started premiering new shows like Adventure Time and Regular Show, and that was the Renaissance era, right? I mean, I really stopped watching it around that time. I mean, I was still watching it, but I wasn't watching it every day like I had used to. And that era brought in a lot of different type of shows, and it just really made you feel like, ooh, didn't mean to turn that off. It just made you really feel like, you know, those shows were like really different. I mean, you really didn't get shows like Regular Show and Adventure Time back then. But, you know, 2010, it was still pretty much for the most part good. It was just that, I don't know, like the whole scenery had changed on the network. You know, I was used to the nudes era. You know, I really missed the nudes era. And then when they brought the Renaissance era in, I was like, no. Because we had only had like 3 years of the the nudes era. And the nudes era, you had so many good shows. Even though Cartoon Network was struggling during that little 08 to 2010 period, you know? You had the Secret Saturdays, you had Ben 10, Alien Force, you had Star Wars, the Clone Wars. You had, what else you had during that time? Flapjack, Chowder, Class of 3000, what else? Squirrel Boy. I think Squirrel Boy had already ended around that time. What else you had around that time? 2008, 2010. You had Batman, the Brave and the Bold. Good show. I mean, you still had good shows on at that time. They were still pretty good at that time. And, you know, they were just dealing with a lot at the time because of the Jim Samples, Boston Bum Scare, and Stuart Snyder coming in. He ushered in the live action stuff. Remember Hole in the Wall, Dude, What Would Happen, Destroy, Build, Destroy, all those live action shows. I was like, what the heck? And then they came out with the Hall of Game Awards. I was like, no, y'all are completely just effing up the channel. And then, you know, I was like, at that point, I remember that was like 2011, around 2011, 2012-ish. At that point, I was like, man, what happened to the network? Because the network had completely just went away from what they were doing, which was supposed to, like, you know, only show just cartoons and everything. And then, you know, like, the 20th anniversary comes. So this was 10 years ago today. They had Cartoon Planet. They had brought back Cartoon Planet. And Cartoon Planet was like a 2-hour, like, throwback to, like, the old classic shows. They had, those Space Ghost characters on there, and they would have them talk about the different shows and stuff, and they would tell you like what's coming up next, and like, you know, how they used to do. And I think they would come on like Friday nights at like 7. I think, I could be wrong, but like I had forgot, like Cartoon Planet was a good little, you know, promo or bumper or whatever, but it wasn't no, you know, thing that stuck around long enough. I think the network during that time was in a rough patch, man. Stuart Snyder had just implemented, like, and then that next year, 2013, Teen Titans Go comes. And that's when I was like, oh my goodness. I thought, like, at first I was excited about Teen Titans Go, because I had thought that was the old Teen Titans coming back. But it was a new and completely different type of Teen Titans show that was on the network. And when I was watching it at first, I kind of liked it, because I was just so enthusiastically happy that they had brought some type of Teen Titans back to Cartoon Network. And then as I kept watching it, I got really angry, because I was like, man, what is this? The old Teen Titans is supposed to be, the old Teen Titans was action, and you coming out with this funny, goofy stuff, and just not being serious. And I was just so freaking mad, man. I was like, bro, what is y'all doing? And then, who else came in 2013? I think Clarence and them came. Uncle Grandpa. And then completely, the Problem Solvers. Remember the Problem Solvers? Remember that show, Mad? All these different dumb shows. Like the early 2010s. Some people like the early 2010s, but I don't like the early 2010s. I say that was completely downfall for the network, man. Around 2011 to 2014, like, that was just, them shows at that time was just really, really bad. They didn't really have no good shows on at the time. They stopped completely showing the classic shows. I mean, you really didn't see no more classics on there. You just seen a lot of Teen Titans Go, a lot of Amazing World of Gumball. You had a lot of Adventure Time on there. They would show a lot of Adventure Time. They ran Adventure Time to death. They even played a little bit of Johnny Test to death. But Johnny Test, they stopped playing Johnny Test after about like 2013. I think 2013-ish, 2014. But the network completely failed just horribly wrong, man. Like, Stuart Snyder just ruined Cartoon Network. And then Christina Miller came, and she just made it hell. Like, I remember she came in. What year did she come in? I think she came in like, what, 2016, 2017? She just kept playing Teen Titans Go all day. And then she would get Steven Universe to come on. And all these other dumb shows, man. I completely just stopped watching the network at that time. Because I was like, man, they keep showing the same stuff. It's like, bro, play something different. And then I was thinking to myself, I'm like, man, how is Cartoon Network gonna survive this avalanche of just them showing the same shows each and every single day like that, bro? Like, how can they continue to keep showing shows that's not having no type of, you know, plethora of shows, a variety of shows? So I was thinking to myself, I'm like, man, if Cartoon Network, you know, falls, it's gonna be because of this freaking woman here. She doesn't even know what she's doing. And I was just so angry, man. And I would kind of, like, sometimes I would even call the network and be like, man, please put some classics on there or something. Like, please stop showing Teen Titans Go, because this crap is getting old, man. And it's still going on to this freaking day. I mean, this show is almost 10 years freaking old. I mean, come on, man. End the dang show already, man. You know, I don't understand these people. I don't understand what they doing. And I'm gonna do a little ranting too while I'm at it, man. You know, Cartoon Network, happy 30th anniversary. But I really wanted to see this network really have a good, you know, 30 years for sure. You know, it's had a good 30 years. And I really wish that it just kept going. You know, I just wish it had kept going. I wish the network would have just kept playing classics and newer shows at the same time so it could have a variety. You know, grow your fan base, grow the younger fan base and everything else. And I'm just so sad that it didn't do that. Now it's dealing with this whole crisis of, you know, Warner Brothers and AT&T. AT&T completely ruined the network, I think, bringing all this SJW propaganda, all this racism stuff involved with everything, and all this, you know, LGBTQ crap, and kind of ruining the network. But, you know, before that, man, the only thing they was doing in the 2000s, they were doing get 60 minutes of play each day. Now, that's not bad. They were telling kids to eat right, which is, you know, what they should do. I mean, you don't want to be obese eating the same, you know, same crappy fast food, you know. And in the 2000s, man, they actually cared about their network. They actually showed their promos to become true. They actually let you know what was going to happen next, then, and now. You know, it was just a different time at that time, man. And I really wish, man, like, it could have stayed like that. You know, it just boggles my mind as to what happened with the network. I love Cartoon Network dearly through all my heart. Like, I really mean this. And I criticize the network a lot, especially now, because I expect a lot better from them. I know what they're capable of. We've seen them growing up, watching them growing up. We've seen what they can do. They can make our lives really magical, man. Make it really special. You know, they can make our childhood, they can make our adulthood too. That don't mean they can just, you know, I mean, Cartoon Network has made our lives, man. So many freaking cartoons that come on. I mean, each and every single day. Throughout millions, showing to millions of people. You know, Cartoon Network has really been in all our house homes. And I'm also mention Boomerang. Shout out Boomerang And shout out Magoozy. I'm gonna shout out some of the promos that Cartoon Network did. Boomerang from Cartoon Network. Boomerang was the place for the old classic cartoons from the year 2000 to 2015. Man, I really miss watching the old Boomerang, because the old Boomerang, it was really good at that time. I mean, they had a lot of shows from the Hanna-Barbera days, the MGM days, old Warner Brothers days. You had shows from Universal, not Universal, but sometimes they would show shows from Paramount, like Popeye the Sailor Man and shows like that. But man, they had a lot of good shows also. I mean, Boomerang was just the baby when Cartoon Network was really just, you know, going big time. Like 2004, 2005. Cartoon Network was really still starting out at the time. And, you know, I really wish, like, Boomerang could have still been that same channel like it was back then. You know, Boomerang was really good channel. And, I really appreciate Cartoon Network for having a little sister or little brother, whatever. Great channel. I'm surprised Adult Swim, we're gonna talk about Adult Swim. I'm surprised Adult Swim hasn't got its own channel yet. I mean, they've been on Cartoon Network for the last 20, 21 years. It's time to get y'all on the channel, man. Because Adult Swim is actually doing better views than Cartoon Network is, if I'm not mistaken. Because of Toonami, a lot of times too. Toonami is on Adult Swim now. It used to be on Cartoon Network. And, you know, Adult Swim needs their own channel. Shows like Futurama, King of the Hill, American Dad, Family Guy, Robot Chicken, C-Lab 2021, Samurai Jack is on there now. You could say Samurai Jack was a Cartoon Network show. It was, but season 5, you know, with season 5 being on Adult Swim and them showing blood and gore and everything, can you really still call Samurai Jack a Cartoon Network show? But yeah, Adult Swim. Magoozy was one of my favorite blocks that I would watch and come home to each and every afternoon. They had shows like Static Shock, 2003 version of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Totally Spies. They would show Code Lyoko. They had so many good shows, man, at the time. And man, those shows that came on Magoozy were a lot of action shows, if you think about it. But Magoozy was action. And they should have kept that block. They should have really kept that block. They should have made that into their own channel. Magoozy would have been a hit. But they already had, like, Warner Brothers had already, I think they already had, like, other departments, like Kids WB and 4Kids TV. You also had, what's that channel that used to come on? CW 4Kids or something like that? I forgot what it was called. But they had some other, like, Saturday morning cartoons that would come on too during that time. And you know, it was just so different back then, man. Like, they really put more into it. They don't really put none into it now. And I'm really sad about that. But, you know, I will always cherish the memories. And I will always go back and watch the old promos and old classic bumpers from back in the day. Because Cartoon Network is here to stay. I love Cartoon Network with all my dear heart. You know, it helped me through a lot. My favorite shows: Kids Next Door, Courage the Cowardly Dog, the old Teen Titans. I could go on and on all day. Ed and Eddie. You know, I could go on and on, man. So many shows that were so good. My dad used to hate me watching Ed and Eddie, man. I used to have to sneak and watch that show because he said it was stupid. Like, I used to have to sneak and watch that show. But he didn't mind watching Dexter's Laboratory with me, which is kind of weird. I'm like, bro, you gonna let me watch Dexter but not Ed and Eddie? Like, why? Like, come on. I remember one time he caught me upstairs watching, he was mad. I was in trouble too. I think I had got popped for that. And that crap hurt. And yeah, I had to sneak and watch it though. But yeah, like 30 years, man, of the network. I'm so thankful for these 30 years. Cartoon Network, thank you, man. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I will always continue to support you, no matter how bad you are. And you are terrible right now. But I will always still continue to support you. Just because you supported me growing up. You were there for me when I was at my worst times. So I'm going to be there for your worst times as well. We're not perfect. But dang, Cartoon Network. y'all made it feel like y'all were darn near perfect, man. The way y'all had them shows and them promos and those new episodes and Cartoon Network, Cartoon Fridays and Hard Thursdays and Scares days and all of those holiday tributes that y'all did. Y'all made it feel so freaking special. And I'm thankful to be a part of it. I was thankful to be a part. I'm still thankful to be a part of it. I thank you so much, Cartoon Network. Y'all mean each and everything to me. I will always remember y'all for being, you know, the place where I could have an outlet. The place where I can come home and feel like I was needed when I didn't really get out as much. But Cartoon Network made me feel like I was a part of the party. It invited me into their domain, their house, and I was invited. And I am so thankful for that, and I really, truly appreciate that with all the bottom of my heart. This is Pyrotechnic. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment. Thank you so much, Cartoon Network, for 30 years. I hope we get a chance to see 30 years more. Thank you.